If you want to empower the local community, what you need to do, show them the best of your manners. Not how much money. Money goes and comes. But the best of manner to empower the local community. And teach the local community how to stand for their rights. And this is a message for all of us. If we want to work for South Africa, because there's a lot of poor people, and want to do international work at the same time, at least 50% or 60% of our funds should be spent in South Africa. Don't jump because the media is covering Syria, or covering Turkey, or covering Iraq, or covering Yemen. It's not about fundraising, it's about heart raising. And the hearts are here because there's a lot of poverty in South Africa as a country, and a lot of poverty in South Africa region. But the cornerstone of all this is the good manner. Will let everybody welcome you and trust you and make you a member of their family. Regarding zakah, sister, I forgot to respond to it. There's one category on zakah, which is al-mu'allafati qulubum. Mu'allafati qulubum, it means that actually you're trying to comfort the heart of the non-Muslims. The least, to build friendship. This is one of the 8 categories. Okay? To be very honest, most of the ayah in Quran talking about al-fuqara, al-masakin, al-yatama, al-aramil, no distinction. No distinction. When you support the needy. Allah widened the scope of help. Why should we narrow it? Why should we narrow it? We've seen it. We've seen young children in Africa taking the wheat from the ant's nest or the ant's tunnel. I started to clean up my dish to understand the meaning of the Prophet ﷺ. Actually, when you eat, just don't leave anything behind. Because when we saw the children of Yemen and the children of Syria licking the dish because just want the taste, you don't throw anything away. This is the wisdom of the Prophet ﷺ 1444 years ago. See, it's not just something, oh, he's old-fashioned. He's just using his finger. Look at the need of the people. Look at the need of a child of Syria 2 years ago. When he was asked in front of the camera, what's your dream? You know what the girl said? I want a new tent. Just a tent. Because it's raining and it's leaking. This is what the girl wanted. I want a pair of shoes. I want a new trouser. I want a football. I want a book to read. Some children lost their sight, and they want to become doctors. This is the dreams. A social worker like us, or a humanitarian worker like us, has to live the dream of everyone he or she is meeting. To realize their dream and try to fulfill it. I was in Juba, South Sudan, in 2003, and they kept singing Iya, Iya, oh, Iya, Iya, oh, Iya, Iya, oh. You know, when I visited this school in Juba, it's called the Itla Barra, get out. Because every time the teacher finds an attack, tell the children, hey, Itla Barra, Itla Barra, Itla Barra. The school of Itla Barra, of get out. This was the name of the school. I sang the song for them in 2004, 2005. I came back again to the same school. They looked at me and laughed and told me, Iya, Iya, oh. I was very happy because my message reached the people with any language. That's why we need to be with them to fulfill their dreams. Even the dream is to draw a smile on their face. Your sister here wants to speak. Give her the microphone.
I'm just going to this question is only going to pertain to the South African context because I don't really know anything about elsewhere. But it seems that NGOs and relief organizations and zakah organizations in South Africa mostly focus on the collection and the distribution of zakah. And we don't really focus on the impact at all. And so we do very little research and very little monitoring and evaluation. And you can think of poverty alleviation because that I would think is the main problem in our context. And we've been doing this work for 40 years since, well, the first zakah organizations have been established. And we've been doing it in pretty much the same way from, the beginning until now. And a very, very small number of people, I feel, have actually managed to exit the poverty cycle in the last 40 years. And this is a speculation, or at least I don't know more about this, but I think that this is because in the books of fiqh and in the sources of Islamic books of fiqh,
FIQH?
FIQH. And because the books of fiqh talk little about the impact of zakah or charity or the intended results of zakah or charity, and mostly we talk about how do we calculate our zakah and how to distribute our zakah. And so we don't really consider the intended impact if there is an intended impact. So should zakah actually alleviate poverty? That's, I guess, a question mark for many people. And they feel that as long as we've done the distribution, we fulfilled our rights to people, we fulfilled our rights to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so we don't connect accountability with the impact that our giving has had on the poor. So that part of accountability is almost left out. But surely, I think we should be results focused. Don't we owe more to the poor and to those that we give to, that we put more effort into what the results of our giving is?
That's right. I agree with you 100%. But by the way, just take the microphone. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu. You tell me faqih or mufti, I'm talking about Umar. You know Umar? A young man like me, last year, because now I'm 22, I was 21 last year, he came for zakat. He gave him the ration. Another young man like him, he came for zakat and they gave him double or triple. Sit down. Because when he was discussing with him, he knew that this man will utilize zakah and next year will bring zakah from his income. But this man just spent zakah on his family. And this is where the leader of the community will decide, actually, are you able to spend the zakat money? Maybe Hazrat Umar was doing it as firasat, instinct. But nowadays it's not firasat. It has to be studied, researched. That's why the first point I discussed today was research studies. You know his ability. Is he educated? Has he experience to spend the money of zakah? Yes. But measuring the impact is a compelling duty on any organization. It's nothing just you give and run. No, it's drainage, wastage. You have to measure the impact of how much, even the sadaqah, zakah, lillah, relief, you have to measure the impact. I was in the belief of even humanitarian fund, and this is my belief nowadays. I'm talking about my belief. Because in fiqh, there's two schools. Fiqh of ulama, which is religion, and fiqh of social worker, which is like myself. So I'm faqih, but in what? In social work. In my opinion, at the time of disaster, when people give a lot of money, I spend only 70% of the fund on relief and 30% of the fund on community development. and empowerment. Because after the camera leaves, nobody gave you money. And they have some fatwa from Kuwait about this. Yes, yes. Even I have the fatwa of saying you can make waqf out of the relief money. But the waqf will be for the cause and for a short period of time. A year or 2 or 3 or 5 to invest the money of the waqf, which you get from the relief money. All this different kind of opinion has to be put on the table. That's why in the history of fiqh, or in the processing of the opinion of the fuqaha, they should sit together. I tell you something which you might know or you might not know. United Nations, dear brothers and sisters, started to raise funds and collect zakah from the Muslims. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. عم محمد عنده غيط إيا oh. What will you do? Where's the ulama? 6 years ago was a recommendation from the World Humanitarian Summit. Zakah is a pillar of Islam. Zakah is deen. Is deen. You have to realize the value of zakah. And zakah is the only pillar of Islam that having al-amilin alayha. You know why? Each pillar, kalima, fasting, praying, and hajj is personal. Personal, is that right? But Allah put al-amilin alayha to structure an organization of collecting zakah, making reports about the poor people, spending, measuring the impact, and helping the community. That's why he put al-amilin alayha. So zakah is an institution. It's not just a money transaction. And here, as a social worker, sister, this is what I believe zakah is. And not only UN, Save the Children, World Vision, as well as and Oxfam. Look at Ramadan appeals. Look at all the UN appeals. Become Islamic organization. Oh, sir, you have your muftis, you have your fuqaha. What is your opinion about that? And this is the challenge, sister. Thank you. Okay, خلاص, sister, give her the telephone, the microphone, the BBC. Bismillah. This is the last one.
Yes, please. Then anyone.
Anyone wants to do a pressing one, or خلاص, you are the last, huh?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I get to stand in front of many organizations of our society. But as a student and a volunteer of many organizations, and part of a newly formed one, the DUT MSA, one of the things that I find in all of that is we continue to keep on having new organizations to solve new problems in our community, but that's only because the existing organizations don't want to, I would say, help or acknowledge that there is an existing problem. So how do we as the youth address this problem with the organizations? Or do we come together as 2 organizations or 3 organizations? Because at the end of the day, everything needs money. And it's not the sole responsibility of one organization. So do we come together and do we put our resources together, our thinking caps on, and go forth and progress the ummah? Because at the end of the day, this is a community and we are for the people. So we have, I would say, too many captains and not many sailors, because all of us are doing good work, but we want to do it in our own time, in our own manner, in our own place. So what advice can be given to us as the youth? Because I'll be taking this back to many of my student organizations and to my student leadership committees. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you. I think you cannot take the money of the people and put it in one pot. They will not come to you. No way. I remember the first Eid prayer we did in UK, 1991. By organized, the idea came from a restaurant owner. His name was Farouk. And most of the mosques refused to have open congregation in the park. You know why? Janda, jaldi, jaldi. Because of the donation. So if you ask for money, they will never come to the meeting. The least, which is very important, ask them to sit down. Come here, there's a problem. Let us sit down and discuss the problem. Let us sit down and identify the problem. Let us sit down and find the solution for the problem. And let's sit down, agree who can lead. And this thing is actually it is difficult as well. Because you know what they will say? Why should I sit with this small organization? I raise about 400 million rand every year. And you raise about 10 or 15. But he might have better ideas than my idea. This kind of ego, I kept saying ego and logo. You know, in the 4 or 5 coordination meeting for Syria and for Yemen, what did you call it? Humanitarian Coalition for Syria. We did not put our logo. Humanitarian Coalition for Sudan. We did not put our logo. Everybody was asking, who are the coalition? We have to explain to them. Because once you put a logo, you deter people from coming. Unfortunately. Even we did not design a logo for the coalition because we were told the people who are coordinating already and failing were not going to stay after the end of the year, especially for Syria. This kind of ego is extremely important, unfortunately. And this is وَنَفْسُنَا مَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. This is soul. It's me on the television. It's me who speaks. It's me who is invited. It's me who is in 10 Downing Street. It's me in Pretoria. It's me and actually the parliament in Cape Town. It's me. No, it's not you. Because the money is not yours. And the organization is not yours. The organization, you know who owns the organization? Are the poor people. You know who pays the salaries of us? It's the poor people. Because this is the fund we raise. And from the fund we take our salary. So behave well when you see your masters or your employer who employ you. Come on, last question.
I think you've answered it.
Are you scared?
You've answered it with that statement.
Oh, thank you.
So it is essentially like, does success come from being smart, being organized, being professional, having media, doing research, or does it come from ikhlas? Because what you have is with the professionalization of Islamic organizations and full-time employees, the lack of that spirit, the lack of all your workers getting up for Qiyamul Layl and doing fi sabilillah, because it's now no different to Action Aid, no different to UNICEF, no different to Amnesty.
You remind me of the good old days. It took me about 35 years ago. Keep saying, we are not others. We are what we are. Allah created me this way, black or white, short or tall, speak Zulu, speak Hausa, speak Swahili, speak Arabic, whatever it is. I am what I am as an identity or organization. Why should I become like you? I can learn from you. You can learn from me, but I keep my identity. Ikhlas is something which I kept saying was the seed of the creation. Like I will repeat the example again. In the first 6 or 7 years, sisters, none of the Islamic relief workers in UK or Europe were spending Ramadan with their family for the whole month. For the whole month. They were on foot from day 1 to the day of Eid. The children never enjoyed being with their father. The wife never enjoyed having iftari or sihri was the husband. Because they were for the community. And this is what you call ikhlas. From France, from Belgium, from Holland, from Germany, from UK, from America, on the road. And this is where ikhlas comes. When Allah sees your ikhlas, your sincerity, definitely your tree, مثل كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن الله. أصلها ثابت. The root of the tree of the good word is deeply in the seventh earth. وفرعها في السماء. You can imagine if the roots in the depths of earth and the branches in the highest of the highest skies. How strong, mighty, fruitful, diverse tree is yours. This is ikhlas. Ikhlas is about a tree that you plant. Not only for you, you can benefit from it, but the rest of the people will benefit. It bears its fruit seasonally, different season. Even different branches have different fruits at different season. You can imagine the length of each branch could be 1 kilo, 2 kilo, 5 kilo, 10 kilos, because this is a tree from the depth of earth till the highest of the highest of the skies. And this is your good word, your good amal, your good tree. Plant your tree before leaving this universe. Huh? No, I'm not talking about legacy, but your tree is your good amal. Even if nobody can recognize it. You might find someone in the community رب أشعث أغبر مدفوع بالأبواب لو أقسم على الله لأبره. Maybe this dusty haired man, uncombed man, and very poor man or woman, and when he comes to the house, they won't open the door for him. If such man make a dua to Allah, Allah swiftly. Al-Hasan al-Basri رضي الله عنه in al-Basra in Iraq, he was sitting in the mosque and they heard a slave come to the front. It was dry season, and he made the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the water. The Hasan al-Basri straight found the rain is coming from the sky. He went behind the man to find where is he. Went from avenue to avenue, from street to street, till he found him working for some man. And he told the man, I want this man. He said, he's useless, he does nothing. He said, I want him. And he bought him. You know, when he went with Hasan al-Basri, Hasan al-Basri was the greatest ulama of Tabi'een. And he told him, I have heard you saying to Allah, please descend the rain on the people of Al-Basra. And they did. The man looked at him and told him, have you heard me? He said, yes. He went to the same place in the mosque. He said, oh Allah, don't extend my life any more than that. And died instantly. He was not looking for legacy. Nowadays, they taught us to look for legacy. This man, none of us know. Sayyid Rabah al-Adawiyya, the woman, the great tabi'i in Iraq as well. Great woman, poet, zahida, abida, incredible woman. May Allah be pleased with her. And her poetry is a connection between her directly with Allah. Directly with Allah. We remember Rabah al-Adawiyya and the story of Rabah al-Adawiyya. But we don't know the name of this man whom Al-Hasan al-Basri wanted to be like him. And Hasan al-Basri was alim, and this man, nobody know him. رب أشعث أغبر مدفوع بالأبواب لو أقسم على الله لأبر. If he comes to marry your daughter, he will never give her daughter to him. No, I will never. and never, because it does not come to the quality of my family. We're finished, brother.
Jazakallah khair, Doctor. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair, everyone. Inshallah, the volunteers of Muslim Relief, they prepare some refreshments for you. So please, we'll go inshallah outside now. Some people they ask to have a picture with the doctor, so you are welcome inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, okay.
لا دكتور جزاك الله دكتور.
أنا نسيت أشكرك امبارح على الأكل.
والله ما شاء الله. لا والله الله يحفظك يا رب.
Doctor, I'm from an organization here in South Africa, Germany.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, the salah after 15 minutes down the stairs. Salatul Isha after 15 minutes down the stairs, inshallah.
All is not as it seems. Because alhamdulillah, there's a lot of collaboration and lots of wonderful organizations here. We work together, we network to make it visible.
هذا صور حتى لو مش ممكن. هذا راي الدكتور مشهور. من جودي.
There's a lot of what we might need is yes, different organizations, collaboration training. But
هاي جودة صور جودة
I
معك.
think listening to the sisters say,
صور جودة مع الدكتور. بعد 10 ولا 20 سنة عرفنا نطور في عمر الدكتور. صور. حاجة طبعا. خليني في نسينا امبارح نتصور.
والله خير، وكان قطع كهرباء.
بسيط عادي.
not just giving them example, using it to change their life. We use it as a transaction. How was that how we use it as an organization? Not just giving them giving them stuff, changing the condition of life. We're using, the same end of the job, we're using it
Bilal Hassam conveys his salam.
Bilal
Hassam from London. From London? Yeah. Bilal Hassam. Dr. Bilal. Yeah. But now he's based in Cape Town. Yes, well, now he's doing the Muslim agency.
I see.
Yeah, he conveys salam. Are you going to visit Cape Town?
Take a photo of the chef. Huh? Take a photo of the chef.
Yeah.